Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We are delighted you're here. And we are broadcasting 2 hours today from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. We broadcast Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time through 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time on Genesis Communications Network. And if you'd like to call us, we will pay for your call. And that call-in number is 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. And if you'd like to listen to us as you travel, there's a listen line. And that listen line number is 605-477-3249, 605-477-3249. 3249. And I'd like to thank our class for making us one of the most listened to broadcasts on Genesis Communications Network. We really consume a lot of minutes on the listen line, and that's very kind of you to spend your valuable time with us here at USAPrepares.com. There's a link to your instructors on the website, USAPrepares.com, USAPrepares.com. And John is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us. Welcome, Rick.
Hey there, Vincent. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Rick. Hey, Rick, I want to read a letter.
Wind here last night. It blew my greenhouse over.
Well, you've been growing in your greenhouse, starting plants, and it blew it over. And that was one of the things that I mentioned this week on the air, that you think you may have everything working for you, and all of a sudden something happens. In my case, it wasn't the wind that blew the greenhouse over. We don't have our greenhouse set up yet. But I put the started tomato and pepper plants out, and then in the evening I put them in the barn so that they wouldn't freeze because the weather was getting chilly. And the chickens found them. The chickens went in the barn and said, "Wow."
Yeah.
So I lost all our started plants, and our son said, I can take care of that, Dad. It's like, no, we can't.
You eat the chickens. If they're going to eat your food, then you eat them.
So, yeah. I'd like to read a letter to you, Rick. As you know, that I've been on this mission to help those who want to help themselves, and we had some seeds that we sent out, three groups of seeds, and those seeds were White Harvest, tomato, sweet pepper, and hot pepper seeds. And we sent them out to anyone who would send us a self-addressed stamped envelope. And I got letters and thank you notes from, I guess, everybody who sent us one. And they were from all over the country. And I want to read one of them. It's a one-page letter, handwritten. And it's from a man named Barry. And it says, "Hey, Vincent, my name is Barry. I'm a welder, fabricator, garden, firearms, and outdoors guy. I've been listening about 3 years now. Great show and good info. Thanks for the opportunity of receiving good quality seeds and giving feedback. The razor trick is spot on. And let me just digress for a second. That's where I've recommended that if you use a disposable razor, you can resharpen it. If you shave in the shower, guys and gals, you can put soap in the palm of your left hand. This is assuming you're right-handed. If you rub some soap in the palm of your left hand, and then you run the razor backwards over the soap and the palm of your hand, it actually sharpens the razor so that you can get, another shave out of it. And I've been able to do that for easily a year. I can get 1 year out of a disposable razor, believe it or not, by sharpening it and in the shower and shaving in the shower using soap. Now, if
I
you
have
use
something to add to that. Do you remember Patrick Flanagan and his pyramid power?
Tell us about it.
Maybe in the early 70s, when Patrick Flanagan first came into the universe. He was out of Colorado, and he was like a whiz kid kind of thing, and he was writing about pyramid power. And I did some studies on grain migration and how to sharpen razor blades by the way you orient them to the magnetic lines of the earth.
Okay, so now I'm trying to think. The direction that I'm sharpening them, literally is the blade itself is going north and south.
Isn't that interesting? And worse, I started studying whirling dervish, and I noticed that when they're in different hemispheres, they rotate differently because of Coriolis forces. In the northern hemisphere where we are, everything goes down the drain counterclockwise, and so the whirling dervish roll clockwise at this hemisphere. And down in Turkey, they do backwards. Isn't that interesting? I wonder what that means.
Isn't it? Well, I was thinking about that in the shower as I was going to bring that up. I was in the shower this morning shaving, and I was thinking about exactly that. The drain.
Isn't that weird? Yeah, exactly. It's archetypal. I think there's something else going on that we haven't discovered yet in our current systems of physics. And that these were discovered in other epochs or other civilizations that in some ways, like the one in Mexico that I saw, that down near Popo, that facility, they're just uncovering it as we speak, is bigger than New York City. And these people had technologies that were quite different than our own. So, they didn't work as much with metals. They worked more with da-da-da. And it's interesting because then you don't have the artifacts for proof. What you have are cave-dwelling drawings. And what the heck, what is this? It looks like a solid-state physics device. Sand paintings.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Well, let me continue on with this letter because we're going to get to the good part. Okay, so he says the razor trick is spot on. And then he goes on to say, I enjoy every guest, especially Captain John Regan and Doc Ram. I thought you might appreciate that. Also, thanks for giving me the opportunity to send a real letter through the mail. This process is all but lost to the young folks today. And that and telling time on a dial watch. Thanks again, Barry. So I wanted to read that, and that was kind of the type of letter that I received. And every once in a while you wonder, is anybody paying attention? And when I received these letters and read every one, you realize that there's so many who actually are trying to help themselves in using this broadcast. So here's another thing I was thinking about in the shower, and we have one of those. You've been in our shower, Rick. It's a kind of a high pressure, low volume shower head, and it makes a kind of a white noise. It's not like kind of like the sound a high pressure washer might make without the engine and the pump. But,
there you go.
Yeah, I get a chance to think because all other sounds are blocked out, and I was thinking about how people are using this information that comes from USA Prepares and the level of instruction that we have. And then I was relating that to college. And I was thinking about what I learned in college and what I learned in the last 5 years spending time on the air with our instructors. And actually, I think in my mind, what I learned spending time 5 years on the air with our instructors is as much as I learned in 4 years in college.
Well, yeah, gems, nuggets.
That's it.
That's
it.
That.
Nuggets.
Yeah, I'm going to say something really important now. I think that, there it is. That means I'm creating it because, imagination is reality. I think that the single most important survival tool is attitude. And before seed, before shotguns, before anything, water, the primary is, I think, your attitude. There is, again, and I've said this before, there's a series they started on Netflix called Remote Survival, where they take 6 individuals and they drop them into the middle of nowhere and they got to hoof it out. And that means with nothing. With food, they got to find what they do. And of the 6 people, 2 fail. And they have to send in a rescue. And both of them was because I can't eat that. I can't drink that. And that's why they failed. Not because they didn't know, because they didn't think they knew. And it's what we're doing is creating our own problems and hardships with our own imagination. And once you overcome and control the mind, that's why meditation, that's why any kind of brain training, hypnosis, any of that is all stages toward evolution. It's your attitude. Positive, neutral, or negative. There it is. And if you don't like what's going on, change your attitude and watch what happens next. I watched this one guy bite the head off his leg. and the military guy, helping him instruct, from a remote location. I said, I can't believe he did that. I want him on my squad. The guy was able to do it, whereas this other guy found a lizard for protein, and he absolutely, in a 3-day period, needed some calories to move from here to there. Lost it. Got himself hurt. That's the way you do it. When you want to give up, you hurt yourself. You don't get hurt. You do it to yourself.
Class, we're broadcasting with Doc Ram, DocRam.com, Dr. Richard Allen Miller, Richard, ALAN, Miller.com. We'll be right back, and some of the topics for today's class are Fukushima and dumping in the ocean, cancer, X-ray machines, is the universe finite or infinite, CERN, sunspots, solar flares. Class, be right back. I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com. 720-432-6433. 720-432-6433.
Hi, this is Sophie Winnick, longtime distributor and user of Youngevity products. In the last few years, my family went through a crisis. Everything else in my life, including my business, had to be put on the back burner. Thankfully, life is getting back to normal now. But the one thing I never had to worry about was my business and my monthly commission. I've been a distributor for Youngevity for over 17 years, since before it was Youngevity. And I've got to say, the most amazing thing about this company is the people. While my family was in crisis, other distributors stepped in and helped my customers, simply because that's what Youngevity people do, even for people they don't know. For me, it has never been about getting rich. It was about a product I could stand behind, a company I could count on, and a monthly commission check that has never, not once, been late in 17 years. Youngevity is truly a business for everyone, even people who have too much to do. I'm Sophie Winnick. I'm just like you. I have a real life, real ups and downs, but I know I will always have Youngevity.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us, class, and I remember being in a seminar with Rick Miller, and the seminar was called How to Think Like a Navy SEAL, how to think with your gut. So, Rick, here's what happened. You taught that seminar, and I've got to tell you that many of us, many of the instructors at USA Prepares on the phone have been talking about this for quite some time now. You introduced this type of thinking, and of course we've all heard about, what's your gut tell you, those kinds of things, and when we were growing up, gut instincts, those kinds of terms were being used, but we never really thought about, is it real? We just heard about it. Well, intuitive thinking is something that the instructors and I have been talking about offline, not talking about you, but talking about how we have independently used this gut level thinking to help us make decisions very quickly and accurately. And I'm not exaggerating. We've talked about the directions that we're taking, the planning that we're taking. What is our gut telling us? And you introduced us to that years ago, Rick. And now the news, now the mainstream news is starting to talk about and have posts on the internet about exactly what you taught us years ago, gut level thinking.
Well, it's the next level of evolution in consciousness. And that's where we started with why SEALs. And when I say SEALs, it's not Navy SEALs. I did astronauts. I did spooks that I have no idea who they were, what kind of organization they were from. We trained them all using basics and based on premises on previous research out of Czechoslovakia, Dr. Millie Hinkle, others like that. And we discovered when I did Edgar Mitchell at Mission Control in 1971, that's when I was able to actually develop an equation for consciousness related to hypnosis and altered states. And altered states of consciousness are a gift from God. There are places that you can do things that you cannot do in a normal conscious waking state. And it's probably why all serious saints through history have stressed the importance of controlling and directing the mind, not letting it wander. And I have to say this, everybody I have ever met that had cancer started first with anger. In Jungian psychotherapy, they say that illness is a way your higher self is trying to communicate to consciousness. It uses, you bump your head, that wake you up, you don't get it, then you walk into a wall. It escalates until you do get it. That's the way it works. And so there's a metaphor there in terms of how your attitude and your emotional state directs the rest of your life. And if you really want the value on it, in a holographic system, emotional content, EQ, is more important than IQ. It's how you feel about something. And that, even if it's in conflict with something else, that's God's will. And that means there's lessons for both sides to learn. And I am certainly becoming enlightened, truly. I have been exploring this for almost 50 years, and I'm close to having a type of union that is bliss. There is a video from TED called Gratitude, Moving Arc, and it is a beautiful thing from TED series. I'll send that to you for a link. I recommend that everybody watch it because it starts with a little child talking about how her imagination changes when, and while she's doing that, she starts to pick her nose. It's so wonderful. It's like real. It's German. It was a German production, and it possibly brings home the whole concept of your attitude. Glass half full, glass half empty. You have a choice, and that metaphor is in everything.
Rick, I was on the air yesterday with Dr. Norman Shealy, and we were talking about diseases, and he brought on his medical partner, Dr. Sergei Sorin, and they've opened a clinic together, Dr. Shealy and Dr. Sorin, and we were talking about diseases, and Dr. Shealy absolutely believes what you're saying is right about anger and cancer. And he said it for years now. We'll be right back.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
It's no secret that pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus can inflict severe damage in the human body. Fortunately, a new and vastly improved silver solution has been developed. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary broad-spectrum antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal solution that can be used inside the body as well as on the skin. Supernatural Silver is unique and superior to colloidal and ionic silvers, using a patented technology that is highly effective against colds, flus, infections, food poisoning, and yeast, in addition to many other pathogens. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported, extremely safe, and is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Find out how Supernatural Silver could change your life. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HEALTHY for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com, and like us on Facebook.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
For the most amazing, calming, brain-stabilizing, blood sugar, and natural addiction-breaking formula, try CalMind. Anxiety melts, panic is gone, sleep is restful, and you'll stay calm during stress. Better than booze, mind-altering drugs, or anti-anxiety, antidepressant, toxic medications, CalMind lubricates your mind so you'll sail through the day effortlessly. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com and listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
75 years ago, America suffered one of the worst moments in American history, the attack on Pearl Harbor. Now you can remember December 7th, 1941, with the purchase of the first ever 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-490-3200 right now for the official 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve, the only company authorized to distribute these 100% solid gold coins. Remember Pearl Harbor with this limited official gold release. 1-800-490-3200 or online at usmoneyreserve.com.
Dr. Richard Allen Miller is with us. Rick, when I get a chance, I've been watching a television series, and we have the DVD set. Our son brought over. He knows the kind of things that Mrs. Finelli and I are interested in. And this particular series is called Manhattan, and it's about the Manhattan Project, the race against time, the race against the Third Reich, their attempt to build the first atomic bomb, and our attempt to build the first atomic bomb, and the project is really fascinating, and it gets into the daily lives, and it also shows some of the sick. I'm sure some of this is embellished, but it shows some of the sicknesses and the weaknesses in men and women, and how they swap partners, and it's really, some of it is sick, but it also shows what the U.S. Army did to people by enticing them to join this project, and then entrapping them in this desert camp that they couldn't leave. Monitored their every move, their families, their relatives, their communications, put microphones and listened in on their secret, discussions, and is just a microcosm of what our government does. How it uses people, spits them out, kills with impunity, uses the police as enforcement. It's a microcosm of what we're experiencing today by the police. And I suggest, if you have the stomach for it, I don't think all of the sexual scenes are necessary. I don't think actually any of them are. But what they do is they depict some of the sickness of people who are put in these situations. And it just shows how the government lies and lies and lies and deceives, and it's horrible. It's horrible. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine what it might be like to great pleasure to work with Neddemeyer. When he was at the university, professor emeritus, he was the one that gave me a bunch of graduate students to do different master's theses on the work that I was doing for the government. And I got to know him real well. And Neddemeyer talked about some of this stuff. He was the second in command under Teller and did the trigger that fires a nuclear weapon. And when I watch engineers in CERN doing ghost dance on platform, trying to bring around biblical prophecy, I mean, I have to say, what? It's we were going to talk about that later too, maybe on the distinction between an engineer and a scientist or a physicist. They're different. Like Matt and I, he's more linear, very important grounding, more practical oriented, where a scientist, a physicist, is more circular. Neddemeyer was both. He was pragmatic. That's what one of the things that made him a super scientist was that he had both qualities. He could stay focused. I think that the government is not bad or good. It is. And that all bureaucracies spawn up inside internal singular core units that go crazy when they have a little bit of power. And the CIA, for example, when I was at the Pentagon, I actually saw gunshots going from one floor to the other. It isn't the military against us. The military is against themselves. They're fighting inside just like they are outside. And if you think that manipulation outside is bad, well, you see what's going on inside. And that's one of the reasons why I had to armor up, like I did with Christianity, in becoming an occultist. Because when I came out of graduate school, I was rushed, just like high school kids were, to Greek and sorority houses. And I got it full money because of my memory system and what I was becoming. And I have to tell you, I'm a nerd. I don't understand politics. I don't even understand it. It's different than being a scientist and trying to do something for mankind. Well, everything has within it, Republican Party on down, an occult lodge. And most of them don't know goat turds from pork and beans. That's the way that works.
Rick, as you're saying this, I was thinking about the Manhattan Project, and I got a chance to meet some of the crew of Enola Gay and Boxcar when they were still alive. And I met Captain Theodore Van Kirk, who was captain of Enola Gay, that dropped one of the first atomic weapons on Japan. And I'm thinking, Van Kirk, Captain Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. I wonder if there's any tie to why they called him Captain Kirk. I wonder if that's because of Captain Theodore Van Kirk of the Enola Gay crew. And I want to share this with you. I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I met the weaponeer of Boxcar. And Boxcar was another U.S. airplane that dropped a bomb, an atomic bomb on Nagasaki, August 9th, 1945. It's called Fat Man. That was the bomb. And he told me, the weaponeer told me that he was ordered to arm the bomb on the ground, before takeoff. And he disobeyed those orders and armed it in the air. And the reason he armed it in the air was he was afraid it was going to go off if there was a mishap during takeoff. He thought that if the bomb was so heavy that if the aircraft crashed during takeoff, there would be a massive explosion. What we were going to do to Japan would happen right here in the United States. So he did not do that. He armed it in the air after takeoff. So those are just a couple short stories that I can tell that I met the man firsthand who armed Fat Man. So Rick,
we've detonated accidentally nuclear weapons in North Carolina and other places on the East Coast. Yes?
Well, I
know about that?
I feel. Tell us about that, Rick.
Well, accidents happen, and that's that. And that engineer probably should be given a gold star for disobeying an order. That is not the way the military does it, of course. And what they do is they either stick you in the brig or they advance you for being smart. I don't know. It's interesting. I can tell you that there are so many pieces of nuclear weapon pieces all over the United States that creeps me out. One of which is all the nuclear reactor plants. Like, can you imagine being in New York City this moment, and what's happening up at Indian Point or in Miami Beach, and what's happening down there in the sea? And now Fukushima is starting to be back in the news again, where they're going to dump a bunch of tritium in the ocean. This is crazy. And I don't know who's responsible, but this is an epochal type event, and we're not getting it, and the media is not reporting it. And I first reported with Carrie Cassidy in November of 2011. I remember she wanted to do a show on Fukushima, and that was just at the time Gunderson was being fired and all of it. It's just, there's more going on in this planet right now than any of us have anything. And while I may or not be a good man, I'm not a whistleblower as much as I am rational thinking. And what could they be thinking? And the singulate that they're planning to create is so far more difficult than you can imagine. A nuclear weapon, when we did fission and then fusion, and now we're going to create a black hole. Get a grip.
Rick, yesterday.
That's scary.
Yesterday, I mentioned on the air with Norm Shealy and Dr. Soren that there is so much radiation, radioactive waste that is piling up at Fukushima that no one knows what to do about it. Now, here's the thing: to keep these melted down reactors cool, they are using seawater, and they're pouring seawater on it. And the amount of seawater that they're using, I calculated to be 79,000 gallons a day. So they're accumulating and have for years now these 79,000 gallons a day of radioactive wastewater. Now, it's so dangerous that they're storing it in tanks. But now they're running out of space to store it. So they're considering, this is 300 tons of radioactive wastewater a day that they've been storing. They don't know what to do with it. So, and it's so dangerous that they've been storing it, but now it's, let's send it into the ocean.
Well, where else are you going to put it? On the moon? That's probably next.
Well, I thought about that when I was in high school. I was thinking about this radioactive waste. What if they just put it in rockets and blasted it out? Out where? And what if one of these rockets blew up on the launch pad? There are a lot of problems. And why would we want to contaminate outer space more than we already have? We already have radiation in outer space, and it got there. Well, some of it was natural, but we put some of it out there with our satellites and our nuclear reactors on board satellites. And that's going to come crashing down to Earth. Let's talk about that when we come back. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Planning to buy food storage? Wait a minute. Many companies try to confuse you with the number of servings they sell. It's not about the number of servings, it's about the number of calories. In emergencies, calories mean survival. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com for a comparison of leading companies. Ready Supply Foods sells the most calories per dollar of any company. Our 23 entrees and breakfasts are delicious and full of nutritious calories. The new leader in value and quality. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Hi, my name is Nick Lupo. One World Whey has been by far the best protein that I've ever had. I take it 3 times a day. Once in the morning as soon as I wake, once for a pre-workout snack, and once for a post-workout recovery drink. It has helped me transform and sculpt my body into what I have now. I began taking the product about 2 years ago, and boy, let me tell you, I'm in the best shape of my life. I've seen major muscle mass gains and have 0% body fat. I have had people at my gym ask if I compete in bodybuilding because of how lean and muscular I am. I used to suffer from everyday aches and pains from hard manual labor my whole life, and arthritis that runs through my family. But One World Whey has helped me take that everyday pain from a 10 to a 3. Some days I feel no pain at all, just full of life and energy. It has also helped my skin look younger and healthier. Thank you, Synergistic Nutrition, for One World Whey.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworldwhey.com.
Serious investors and traders want to make 81% return in 60 seconds? Use the same secret algorithm professional hedge fund managers use to make billions of dollars of profits. Turn $250 into $4,903 in just 7 clicks of a mouse. Our tool is so simple that my 82-year-old grandmother can use it to make insane stock market profits. Go to bigmoneybig.com. Watch the free video before the hedge funds make us take it down. Bigmoneybig.com. That's bigmoneybig.com. From the Robert Allen System. Current returns not indicative of future results.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Remember Pearl Harbor. Now you can buy, for the first time ever, the 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-329-6700 right now or go online to usmoneyreserve.com. 1-800-329-6700.
Class Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us, and we've been talking about atomic weapons. And we're talking about boxcar, and that's spelled B-O-C-K-S. B-O-C-K-S-C-A-R. And boxcar had targeted Nagasaki. And when it was done, the estimate was a population of in Nagasaki, a city of 270,000 people, about 70,000 died by the end of 1945. And Nagasaki was not the primary target of that flight. It was the city of Kokura, but weather conditions prevented the primary target from receiving the wrath of the United States atomic weapons. And also, I was told by the weaponeer that the reason there aren't a lot of pictures is because there were problems getting the cameras for that flight. That's what I was told. That's what I was told. So we have them of the bombing of Hiroshima, but not of Nagasaki. Randy from Houston, you're on with Dr. Richard Allen Miller and me. Welcome.
Hey, good morning. How are y'all doing today?
Very well.
I just got an observation. You were talking about the bombing, the dropping of the atomic bomb, and that yesterday when I read the story about the Russian jet and the Russian helicopter dogging and harassing an American Navy ship, it reminded me of this story I read in a book about the dropping of the bomb on Japan. I believe the book was the name, The Last Train Out of Nagasaki. I believe that was the name of it. And what the U.S. Air Force did back in World War II, they were concerned that the bomb was just going to explode before it got dropped while it was being shelled by Japanese ground forces. And so for months, what the U.S. Air Force did is they would run bombing raids on the mainland of Japan, but the U.S. would never drop any bombs. And so the Japanese kind of got lured into this false security, this false security, and so the Japanese stopped shooting at the U.S. planes flying over. And then that enabled the U.S. military to drop the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And I think that may be what the Russians are doing today, just doing a mock strafing run on a U.S. naval ship, and the U.S. doesn't fire one shot. And then one day, very soon here, the Russians may simply start destroying U.S. ships very quickly, and the U.S. doesn't fire one shot.
There's another vector here that might be more important. What's his name? He's a famous actor. He made a movie about having an epiphany with God and went to Stockholm to stop nuclear testing in the atmosphere, because at that time, even today, there is concern that if you detonate a nuclear weapon high enough in the atmosphere, it will ignite the atmosphere and you'll have trial by fire with the earth burning up. And that was Martin Sheen that did that movie. And that was right at the time he had regained his religion and became a Catholic again. And then he made that movie. And they pulled that movie for years. You couldn't find it, but it was a very important movie by Martin Sheen. And I don't remember the name of it, but it's atmospheric detonation.
Randy, do you have a couple more minutes to hold through the top of the hour news and commercial announcements? I've got a question I'd like to ask you.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Randy's with us in Houston. I'm Vin Finelli. Rick Miller's with us. And we'll be right back after top of the hour news and commercial announcements. This is USA Prepares. And coming up, we'll be talking about more about Fukushima, CERN, sunspots, solar flares, urban farming. Is that the preschool of the future?
That is the man.
I'll be right back.
Camouflage.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
When Dr. Lane Sebring appeared on Fox News and claimed that he could give seniors a second shot at youth, viewers were highly skeptical. But then they saw the proof. Despite being 61 years old, Dr. Sebring is still competing in martial arts competitions against guys half his age and winning. But what's even more remarkable are his lab tests that back it all up. His blood pressure checks in at a healthy 110/78, and his blood sugar never jumps above 70. So what's his secret? Sebring has been using a powerful green drink that he personally formulated called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens was originally created to help older guys in the military who are dealing with achy joints and stiff muscles. And for a limited time, Dr. Sebring is letting you try the drink absolutely free. All he asks is that you chip in a few bucks to help cover shipping. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. Greens75.com. Greens75.com.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com with Dr. Richard Allen Miller. And I've asked Randy from Houston to stay with us for a few more minutes. Randy, are you still with us?
I'm still here, Vincent.
Great. And Dr. Richard Allen Miller is with us. Randy, you know, when I talk with our class off the air, I always ask this one question. I thought, let's ask this question on the air. And that question is, how can we make our broadcast better? That's the question.
One of the things that I focus on listening to when I do get a chance to listen is knowing the problems is important. But more importantly, we've also got to know how to survive and thrive during these problems. And that's one of the reasons I do listen to your show. The not only the medical help, but I got a lot out of all the solar discussion that you had, the solar energy discussion. Because I'm in the process of doing that myself. You just mentioned right before you went to the top of the hour break, urban farming. I'm doing that. We need to be focused on correcting the problem and surviving and encourage and see and having others see what we do so that they can also survive. I think that is just as important as knowing the problems.
Well, Randy, let me address what you said, and I appreciate what you said. You know, I'm a farmer, and you know that I look up and I look down, and things. I say things that I see. If I see something happening, I talk about it on the air. If something bothers me, I talk about it on the air, and if I interact with others, like during commerce, and I don't like certain things, I'll tell you on the air my reaction, what happened and what I do. And you're talking about, and that's what this broadcast is about. We share our ideas and opinions and our successes and our failures, things that we've tried, things that we know work, things that we're concerned about, things that we're attempting to fix and how we're attempting to fix them. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned alternative energy. And I'd like to just take a minute and just share with our class what happened. I've been experimenting with solar energy for many, many years. And I wanted to buy some equipment, and I wanted to work with a company that I could depend on, that I could place a call to, and have them actually be there, and not have a salesman today and a different salesman tomorrow and a different salesman next month attempt to answer my questions or tell me that somebody would call back. So I got on the phone and I made a lot of calls. I called manufacturers. I called their tech support department and I said, so if I buy this equipment and I encounter this specific problem, what about software updates? What about replaceable parts? What about board level replacements? All those kinds of things. I was asking those kinds of questions. And as a result of asking those questions and of the company selling as dealers, selling the products, that's how we arrived at Brandon Williams and his company, Iron Edison. So I wanted to share that. I talked to plenty of companies, and some called me back, some didn't call me back, some were just interested in a sale, some were interested in helping me at all, and I figured, why would I want to deal with a company who's not interested in after the sale as well as the sale? So that's how we kind of approach things. And I want to share one other story, and you might find this interesting. So I went to, there was a little place in Springfield, a stand-alone building that was selling preparedness supplies. And I heard about it, and some of our class told me about this in Springfield when I was broadcasting there. And I went over just about closing time. The store was closed, and I knocked on the door, and the guy was behind the counter, and the counter was only maybe 20 feet from the front door. And he looked up at me, and he looked back down, and he totally ignored me. And his wife was there. And I kind of mentioned, I just want to say hi. So she came over and opened the door, and I went in, and I said, hey, I'm Vince Finelli. I went to shake this guy's hand. He goes, I know who you are. And I was thrown out within 60 seconds. Shortly thereafter, I got a call. We were having an expo, and I got a call from a company, and they said, hey, listen, we want to come to the expo and want to exhibit. And I said, what do you guys do? So we have a preparedness store. I said, where? I said, in Springfield, Missouri. I said, really? What's the name of the store? And they told me. And I said, I can't help you. And they said, why? I said, well, I was at your store. I went to introduce myself, and I got thrown out within 60 seconds. And I said, now, what would I say to our guests at the expo? That maybe you guys will do a little bit better than I, and you might you might last 90 seconds? What am I supposed to say? No, I can't have you guys at the expo. And the guy said, you're gonna base the whole company on one employee? And I said, yeah, that's what. and so that was a couple years ago. Well, the whole point of the story is I passed that building a couple days ago in Springfield. It's now a barbershop.
It's closed. Yeah.
Closed. Yep. And that's happened to a number of places that have given me the bum's rush. So I figure if they give me the bum's rush, without either knowing who I am or not knowing who I am, if I get the bum's rush, I'm not going to be the only one. So I'm not going to deal with people like that. So that's another kind of thing that we share here at USAPrepares.com.
Yeah, walking the talk as the light shines through.
Mm-hmm. So, Rick, with Randy on this call, when you come to the farmhouse, Rick, are we who we appear to be on the radio, or is there any difference?
You mean all the weird orgies and the other things going on with drugs? Yeah. No, it's a little piece of Americana. Appreciate always visiting with you.
So Rick, would you say that we are who we appear to be, and that we're not embellishing at all?
Yeah. Oh, what the heck is that? What is that? Yeah, you're genuine, and and that part is clear as a bell, and everybody gets it. Everybody gets when somebody is in the moment. That's the sacred over the profane. When they're actually so caught up in what they're trying to do, it's like timeless. That, yes, you are like that.
Well, I meant all of us. I meant,
your
Matt's
intent is genuine, and and you're actually trying to do it. That's different than people that kind of want to shoulda, coulda.
Yeah. Randy, anything else you'd like to share with us?
No, I just appreciate listening to your show, and I do gather a lot of information from your show, and yours is one of the few shows that I actually do listen to and then re-listen to it later. The Iron Edison program from about 2 weeks ago was very good, and people need to re-listen to that, because I'm in the process of installing a solar system, and I am going to use some of their products, their batteries, and so, but understanding how it all fits together and what pitfalls to watch for, because very easily you could blow out, destroy an inverter, and after you've spent $400 or $500, and you have to spend it again. So I think that was a very good program you did.
Well, let me tell you, going forward, I talked with Brandon Williams, and we're talking about ironedison.com class. And if you happen to call and mention my name, please. When we did that broadcast, I called him and I said, why don't we do 2 hours? Not just 1 hour. Let's do 2 hours. And then we decided that we would do 2 hours a month, 2 hours back to back, because it's so hard to get all that detailed information. We can do teasers, and that's what other mainstream broadcasts do. They do a couple minutes, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and it doesn't tell you anything. And so we really want to get in depth into the design, into what you really need to do. Now, some people that may turn off, but for those who really want to know, I don't know of a better way to do it than to get in depth. And that's what we're planning for our next series of expos. And we're going to share that with you tomorrow. We're going to talk about how we're going to do the expos and how we're going to bring them to you at the lowest cost with the best instruction, in depth. Not just 1 hour seminars, 80-something 1 hour seminars. We're going to do them in depth, minimum of like 90 minutes at a time. That's the plan. And that's tomorrow's broadcast, second hour. So if you'd like to tune in. So Randy, I really appreciate your insight, your opinions, and your thoughts on what we do here and how we do it. And if there's expertise that you have, or any others who are listening and they want to share with us as instructors, we're all ears. Seriously, we're expanding our faculty. So Randy, if you want to share with us your expertise, please call me after the broadcast, and I'll give you out my home phone number, 417-462-1105, 417-462-1105. Randy, thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, thank you. Y'all have a good afternoon.
You too.
Bye-bye.
What a delightful call. Rick, in this video, Manhattan, I believe it's a WGN series that was done, Manhattan, about the Manhattan Project. Some of the scientists were trying to figure something out, and there's a lot of drinking that goes on in these episodes, and so these guys tried some mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms. What is the effect of psilocybin?
It's a psychedelic. It's classified as a psychedelic. Psilocin and psilocybin are the two primaries. It is different than LSD as a psychedelic, as mescaline is different. It seems to be more of a body high. It is not a stimulant like rave drugs or ecstasy and things like that. Those are stimulants. This is a psychedelic. Someone was talking about when he had taken mushrooms, how his front vision was blinded, that he could see to the left and he could see to the right, but everything in front of him that he was looking at was gone. It was blank. He was curious of what was going on. And I suggested that what was happening is he was looking to the left when he was thinking about looking to the front.
Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
It's no secret that pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus can inflict severe damage in the human body. Fortunately, a new and vastly improved silver solution has been developed. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary broad-spectrum antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal solution that can be used inside the body as well as on the skin. Supernatural Silver is unique and superior to colloidal and ionic silvers, using a patented technology that is highly effective against colds, flus, infections, food poisoning, and yeast, in addition to many other pathogens. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported, extremely safe, and is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Find out how Supernatural Silver could change your life. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HEALTHY for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com, and like us on Facebook.
You've seen crazy diets to lose weight. At GCN Team, our healthy body weight loss system simply neutralizes the body, bringing down cravings. It has been proven that nutritional deficiencies drive appetite for carbs, sugars, and fats. Lose weight the easy way. Find us at gcnteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Fighting cravings is a fool's game. Give the body what it needs to be satisfied. Again, 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
That's Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us. So, Rick, do you think these magic mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms, might have been beneficial in the development of one of the most awful things that we've ever done, experimenting with radiation and atomic weapons, which led to the development of the nuclear
there's a lot of things that'll bioremediate. Yeah, there's lots of things that'll bioremediate toxins out of the ground, including radioactive isotopes and other things like that. Marijuana has been studied all through Europe as a primary. Japan is dead. And it's only, unfortunately, now a question of time. And the fact that Japan is not saying that is a tragedy to mankind. The children there now in Tokyo, the prefect, have not 48% now is 97% are showing thyroid anomalies. Everybody's sick from it. And there are credible sources out there like Gunderson. I am just reading what they're saying, connecting my own dots, and suggesting that Japan eventually will also be like Atlantis. It will sink into that cavern and never be seen again or anything. And I think it will be a tragedy to lose the richness of their culture, which is unique with Shogun and the idea of warrior class. It's unfortunate, they're like Spartan and other countries like that in history that we've had, and nobody gets that part, and nobody realizes that we're watching the end of something. It's simple. I'm a physicist. I'm able to connect the dots. And I don't care about what you believe. Right now, I've got enough data to say that I wouldn't want to be in Japan right now.
Do you think that the radiation that is circling the globe right now is causing us to be more aggressive? Let me explain what I'm saying. I'm hearing people are more aggressive in parking spots, in crowds. They're more aggressive on subways. The animals are more aggressive on our farm, and we haven't changed anything. We go out and see them 3 times a day at least. But, the animals are kind of pushing each other around. They're not as nice to each other as they used to be. The dogs are a little more aggressive toward the chickens and the cats. And, what's that all about? I don't think it's not like we changed.
Called road rage. That's basically what it is. Everybody, everything is feeling the pressure. And you can determine the temperature in Phoenix by the road rage you encounter. It's a metaphor. And, these are the times. And I can only imagine what it was like to go up against a Knight of the Temple, the 14th century, when he would say, kill them all, let God sort out his own. And it's a mental state of survival that is needs control, just like anger and other things. It's learning how to play those places like a musical instrument that will shine through the genuineness. There you are, Vincent. That's what evolution is about, and you're part of that because you're genuine and you shine through. That's the way it works.
So, Rick, do you think some of this aggression that we're seeing all over the country, even in animals, cats, dogs, and cows, do you think that is related somehow to the chemical spraying above, maybe the radiation?
Does weather affect man's consciousness? I remember when Dr. John Wheeler came into the classroom the first time I ever met him and went straight to the blackboard and started writing equations and said, not only does weather affect man's consciousness affects the weather. That's geoelectrodynamics. And I'll tell you what, he got a Nobel Prize for that. And I'll tell you what, there are things going on right now. The weather changing.
Yeah, if you don't think the weather's changing, you're not looking up. The weather is changing. It absolutely is. And Rick, I was reading about the ice melting, causing the poles to shift. And maybe, yeah.
Hopi called that the ritual of the wobble egg.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or 800-544-3533.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutrition meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a select quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Class, one of the recurring topics that we've mentioned throughout this broadcast today is Manhattan, the television series. And it was a drama production for WGN America. And it was set in 1943 and 1944. It focuses on Los Alamos, New Mexico. And it was a town that the world hardly knew anything about. And this was the site of the development of the technology and the prototyping and the production of the first atomic weapons that we used on Japan. And this, I just want to let everyone know that this is allegedly a work of fiction. However, I kind of wonder how much is fiction and how much is fact because of the way the way it's portrayed. And I believe that a lot of what happened is parallels to what happens today, the spying on Americans and the control of what happens, the control by the police of us, and how they're usurping alleged authority. Kyle in New Mexico, welcome. I'm sorry, Kyle in Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning, Vince and Dr.
Good
Miller.
morning.
I just had a thought on, you were talking about the anger issues that, excuse me. People I have found get angry when there is change. They get more short-tempered, and they can sense it. And I'm wondering what Dr. Miller thinks about, all of the changes that's going on politically, economically, the geology of things changing, the weather, and all of these different things, I think are affecting people's anger issues because even though they're not really thinking about it, the change that's happening all around them and the uncertainty makes people a lot sharper, and they have less tolerance in their minds and their emotions to handle everyday life.
That's called the voice of reason and the voice of coyote, inside the box and outside the box. And when you're inside the box, everything is safe and organized and predictable. And when you voice of coyote says, why don't you do something else? That is when you step outside the box. And the first thing that happens when you step outside the box is the uncertainty of fear as the first enemy of man. You're not sure what's going to happen, and the first biosurvival circuit kicks in. Now, this has to do with knowing yourself and having control of your mind. And so the voice of reason and the voice of coyote are actually the same voice, because change is the rule.
So, Kyle, are you seeing the same kinds of things that I'm seeing? Now, I'm not saying that that there's strife inside of our family. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is I'm seeing
money, the pressure of money. Everybody's broke.
That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing what appears to be the pressure of money to outside when I'm in stores. I'm seeing people who are not wearing as nice clothes as they used to. I'm seeing them not drive as nice vehicles as they used to. I'm seeing more desperation. I'm seeing the lack of repairs on homes. I'm seeing infrastructure falling down. Are you seeing that in your neck of the woods in Montana, Kyle, as well, or is just here?
It seems, Vince, that here, because of where we're located, there's a lot of people that are moving in here that have quite a bit of money. And so there seems to be almost like two classes. There's one group that is struggling and barely making it and doing, just like you were saying, But there's also a group here that people that are moving in that don't think hardly anything about spending $1.5 million on a chunk of property in a house on a lake. It's just it's amazing. Some of just as an example, I have a friend of mine who is a CPA, and he had a lady walk into his office and ask him, said, "Do you think you could manage my trust account?" Could you manage the interest on my trust account? And he said, "Well, how much are we talking about here?" And she said, "Well, the interest on the trust account's around $26 million a year." And it's just absolutely unfathomable. Some of the different people that are, that have trust of Big East money or something, and it's just absolutely. So we're seeing both. I'm seeing people driving around in brand new, just bought cars, and I'm seeing people barely getting by in old Volkswagens or something.
Yeah, that means really there's no middle class anymore. It's all them and us.
Yeah, I mean, somebody that's making the housing prices around this area because of where it is, you're still going to spend anywhere from $200,000 to $250,000 minimum on a decent house with any kind of land, and there's people buying them. The real estate market here is really amazing. It almost sometimes when you describe Missouri, it almost seems like I'm in a different world almost as to what's going on in Missouri. But people are definitely sharper, and their tolerance for things seems less than what it used to be, because I think the overall thought process of people is just stretched to the limit, their ability to handle things. And I think Dr. Miller hit it right on the head when he said survival is more a matter of attitude than aptitude, because you and I both know, as we've talked off air, that, a lot of times it's just a matter of deciding to delve into something and figure it out as you go. And it's the attitude to be willing and wanting to do that makes you able to do it.
It's your mental state that made you a SEAL, where you don't fail because it isn't even part of what you're doing. It isn't about failure. You can't. That is where you change from a soldier to a super soldier. And it's attitude. It's the panache of knowing yourself. And if I get shot, that's because I'm saving my buddies.
Kyle, I think you're right on the money, because when I did my first plumbing job, I said to myself, the difference between a plumber and me, a professional plumber and me, is the professional plumber has at least done it at least once before. I haven't done it before, but I can certainly learn how to read, and I can certainly learn how to sweat a copper fitting. I can certainly measure. I can plan out a route for the plumbing. I think I can do this. And so I did. And that was decades ago. And then same thing with electricity, reading about Ohm's Law, and reading about wire gauge, and reading about the types of insulation and how to understand what the nomenclature actually means, and reading books. I was able to do all kinds of wiring. And as a result, when I built this farmhouse with our son, we plumbed and wired it, ourselves. Did we do a project this large before? No, but the plumbing works fine. And I said to Mrs. Finelli, maybe a year ago, I said, do you realize it's really interesting? We haven't had a single recall. We haven't had to call those people back to have them fix the plumbing nor the electricity. Isn't that amazing?
You know what you're talking about is sovereignty. The ability that I don't want to do it. Like, I know how to fix an engine. I know how to pull an engine and fix it, but I'm too old to want to do that anymore for myself. However, the fact of knowing how to do it allows me the security, non-anger, of feeling safe because I know how it works. Now, that's an illusion because who knows? But it's like faith. If you feel better by using faith. Now, if you have a choice, that's what it's all about. I saw this movie. It was called Miracles from Heaven, and it was a wonderful movie. And the whole thing was about a woman who lost and then regained her faith and witnessed it. And the man whose child died was like my child. And so I know what faith is. It is not illusionary. It is part of the imagination, which literally creates the universe. And that's our connection to God.
Rick and Kyle, I use the term those people around our house, and I'll say, when I refer to ourselves, as if there are other people here who can do these things and who we might call to do things like plumbers and electricians and mechanics and people to fix the fence and to do engineering. When I refer to us as those people, it's really, there are no those people. It's really us. And yes, we can do it. We can do it ourselves. And all it does is takes some study, some planning. And what I've taught our children is before you undertake a project, someone else has already bruised their knuckles, banged their knuckles. So there's probably a better way to do it than we might think of at first. So let's see how others have done it. Let's go to YouTube. Let's go to the internet. Let's do a little bit of research before we start the project, and then we'll start the project, because maybe we won't have to take all of those pieces off. Maybe we'll have to take some of those pieces off. Maybe by 5 minutes of investigation, we can save 3 days worth of work and extra expense. So that's what we do. Kyle, thanks so much for being with us. Is there anything else that you wanted to ask?
I had one other thought with Dr. Miller.
Okay, and I do too. So we'll hold through the break. Yeah, hold through the break, and we'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
75 years ago, America suffered one of the worst moments in American history, the attack on Pearl Harbor. Now you can remember December 7th, 1941, with the purchase of the first ever 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-490-3200 right now for the official 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve, the only company authorized to distribute these 100% solid gold coins. Remember Pearl Harbor with this limited official gold release. 1-800-490-3200 or online at usmoneyreserve.com.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia? It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Serious investors and traders want to make 81% return in 60 seconds? Use the same secret algorithm professional hedge fund managers use to make billions of dollars of profits. Turn $250 into $4,903 in just 7 clicks of a mouse. Our tool is so simple that my 82-year-old grandmother can use it to make insane stock market profits. Go to BigBuckRiches.com. Watch the free video before the hedge funds make us take it down. Go to BigBuckRiches.com. From the Robert Allen System, current returns not indicative of future results.
I guess someone doesn't like exactly what we're saying here at USAPrepares.com. I just got knocked off the air, but no problem. We've got a backup plan. It's the plain old telephone service. I'm connected via that right now. Kyle in Montana, you had a question for Rick?
Yes. Rick, you mentioned, if a man pictures in his mind Japan, the death of Japan is a fait accompli. It's done if you look at it. So if you transfer that thought process over to the United States and you see such a huge political divide that continues to get worse and worse, social, where you play this out is, do you think that the fait accompli, barring some kind of nuclear disaster or nuclear war or even something like that, I don't see another way around another American revolution. And I was wondering what you thought about that.
Well, Dennis Kucinich has said publicly that he sees the United States breaking into 9 provinces like Canada. And, of course, I live in the free state of Jefferson, and you are right up there in the territories. It's you have a beautiful place. I wouldn't want to live in L.A. Jesus. Yes, I think we're in a problem situation, and it's a wake-up call because look at what happened to Japan, and what's that about the Madrid Volant? Wakey, wakey. Crocodile Dundee.
Yep. All right. Well, I'll let you guys finish up and catch you. I'll talk to you later, Vince, and see you guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Kyle Harris. Rick, global warming. There's a post on the internet, global warming is changing how the world wobbles. There's a NASA study that says the melting ice sheets are changing the Earth's weight distribution. And
the primary income for the Hopi Indians is doing the ritual of the wobble egg for the last 50 years. And the Hopi have been through what medicine is the memory of their history orally, like in Enemy Mine. The medicine is the songs and the dances. And I've studied this to the point where I hold songs and dances for Sitka tribe. There's several of us that do that. And our versions change with the richness of Hopi that goes back 5,600 years in memory. And talks about them when they crawled out of a cave after the last epoch as the Clovis culture went into the cave. Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's cyclic, and I believe that this is literally the end of days, and that's why you personally, everybody I'm talking to, you personally chose to be here to witness the change.
Do you think that we also chose to to lead the rebuilding? Those of us who are in this class today?
Divine right. The elite are digging in now, knowing they're probably mostly not going to survive, like Ubeki Plinky or whatever that place is in Turkey. I can't remember how to pronounce the name. They had over 200,000 homes underground because they knew who was coming in or something, and they dug in and they're gone. Wanting at the new epoch, good luck, to have say in how it rebuilds.
I've heard information that one of the wealthiest people in Missouri is going underground. Literally, he's burying his treasures, family treasures, and wealth and accumulation underground because in the Missouri Ozarks, because of what he fears is coming. And I don't think he's the only one. There are these underground bunkers being built and proposed all over the globe. Seems like it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. How do you know you're at the underground bunker at the right time? With no warning. Just a thought.
Your gut.
I'm not thinking about it. Dr. Richard Allen Miller, thanks so much for being with us today. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next? It's up to you.
And you know what? You'll be our nice girl.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
When Dr. Lane Sebring appeared on Fox News and claimed that he could give seniors a second shot at youth, viewers were highly skeptical. But then they saw the proof. Despite being 61 years old, Dr. Sebring is still competing in martial arts competitions against guys half his age and winning. But what's even more remarkable are his lab tests that back it all up. His blood pressure checks in at a healthy 110/78, and his blood sugar never jumps above 70. So what's his secret? Sebring has been using a powerful green drink that he personally formulated called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens was originally created to help older guys in the military who are dealing with achy joints and stiff muscles. And for a limited time, Dr. Sebring is letting you try the drink absolutely free. All he asks is that you chip in a few bucks to help cover shipping. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. Greens75.com. Greens75.com.